At the extreme, one becomes a symbol. Every man who desires adulation will recognize in me the pure manifestation of that dark part of himself. I am the perfect reflection of every man with a lust to dominate, who has some bias or prejudice, some unsatisfied craving. Some will condemn me morally, but they cannot escape the power of my image. Their self-righteousness will dissolve as their hearts beat with the rhythm of my essence. Even those poor souls who hate me will privately envy me because I fulfilled my dreams, whilst others repress their true desires. Thus have I guaranteed my immortality. The essential Hitler has a hold over every human heart. Let's end this on a poetic note. Will to power, will to form, will to beauty.
But it gives the impression of the cross.
The Messiah theme. I created a great circulation of energy, self-replicating, self-real. The inside of a man, this nonsense about the id and superego. A man is the sum total of his acts. Success justifies all.
So, what can we learn from your actions?
A man is his own creation, his own artwork. Only a poet could touch the edge of the purer mystery. One power alone makes a great leader. Imagination, divine vision. Film is the magician's mirror. The first art form which allows the artist to project his dreams and fantasies into the inner life of the viewer, to reshape and capture his soul, to create a perfect reality indelibly inscribed on the minds of billions. My works of destruction and grandeur will live on. I am the artist. I am the artwork. I was Homer. I was Ulysses. I was the Odyssey. I enlisted powerful men, courageous men, to the task of fulfilling my artistic destiny.
What?
I represent the rejection of the model.
What is it?
Return to the world of Homer, which isn't about massive destruction. Remains, first and foremost, an instrument to enhance the hero's personal glory. It is the plain truth. The sun is uncontrollable. Unforgiving. With the sun, you can't Wagner made the exorbitant demand that the stage become an hypnotic instrument under the power of the artist. I imposed the same demand on Germany.
History is an era to be rewritten by the visionary playwright.
While Wagner brought the German myths to the operatic stage, I brought them to the world. I am the Superman, the Teutonic Knight on the quest for the Holy Grail.
Compared to you, Wagner was a minimalist.
Why did you never wear an official Army SA or SS uniform?
Better to remain undefined. Suggestive indefiniteness.
There's so few public pictures of you smiling.
There were none before I was Chancellor. Nor any with children or small animals. Every man a rival. I am the German spirit. Consider the incomparable magic of my words.
Did you write that?
The incomparable magic of my works. It's Wagner. Man is a beast of prey, developing through constant progress. The beast conquers founds great realms by the subjugation of other subjugators, forms states and organizes civilizations in order to enjoy his booty in peace. Attack and defense, suffering and struggle, domination and servitude.
Are those Wagner's words?
We were both illusionists and showmen. I made my life so different, so vibrant, so extreme. That was how I accumulated power. I wrapped iron and blood in a cloud of mystic communion with the German world. Whoever wants to understand Hitler must first learn Wagner. Fire. Fire fascinates Hitler. Consumes without accepting or rejecting. Like the sun, nobody could look at me without the pain and punishment of blindness. Number 2. The receptivity of the masses is unlimited, yet their understanding is feeble. They quickly forget. 3. The masses tell each other small lies. It will never come into their heads to create colossal tales. Thus, bold myths work best. 4. Effective propaganda must be confined to stereotypes. Always focus people's attention on a single foe. To have multiple enemies confuses people. For the non-supple, stubborn. Terror is necessary. When I was a small boy in Linz, I frequently played alone. I would walk to the top of a hill overlooking the city. In dark solitude, I imagined I had absolute command of those heights, all the lands below. Those private moments stayed with me. Even the tragedy of every charismatic leader is to be imprisoned by his fate. His triumphs are finite. His needs infinite. What will they think of us? History, those who study our lives. Will we be judged by what we say? By our deeds? By the monuments and images we leave behind? Or by something else? Something we can't control.
They adored you.
They were stupefied by the Führer cult. So hungry for me. As if I could fill their emptiness.
By feeding them hope, you stimulated their craving.
The desire to be the desired object. The thrill quickly loses its impact. You were the one thing that brought me peace. When I was homeless during a cold Vienna winter, a Jewish art dealer gave me an overcoat. I even had a Jewish friend at the men's shelter, with whom I spent many pleasant afternoons. Maybe there would have been an advantage in not exterminating the Jews. Reason must be trained to think in historical dimensions. I'm the greatest actor in Europe. I am the greatest actor in Europe. What a thrill to play the Führer. For 12 years, the supreme father figure.
On the political stage, you can do anything.
I am a vegetarian. I never eat dead animals. I loathe big game hunters. A gruesome bloodbath. I would not allow smoking in my presence. We discourage tobacco consumption. I insisted on the humane treatment of pets and farm animals. I even issued a decree regulating the cooking of lobsters to minimize their suffering. I reduced chemicals in fruits and vegetables. The SS planted organic gardens. I am not a brutal man by nature. I am not a brutal man by nature. I'm not a brutal man by nature. I'm not a brutal man by nature. I am not a brutal man. You take an ordinary man, dress him in a uniform, and that man will commit acts he never before imagined.
It's a tranquil image. All the Germanic peoples coming together.
In a different era, parts of me that were compassionate and sensitive might have developed, but in my era, there were forces and attractions that led me to become the founder and perfect leader of a new religion. Think of Volk and Reich, our great nation. We prefer the spoken to the written word, more so symbols to any kind of words, and above all, pageantry, spectacle, and music. People thought I choreographed the Nuremberg Rally to make the film Triumph of the Will. The critics lacked the imagination to see that I orchestrated World War II for the same reasons. So, my sons and daughters, take guidance from the arts. If you told the truth, both the teller and the listener would go insane.
Tell me, for you, what redeems life?
The purely artistic. Read Nietzsche.
What of the spiritual dimension?
To be a creative artist, one inevitably walks the spiritual path. In fact, they are the same path.
Enigma, carefully manipulated, enhances one's power and fame.
Make that fame, power, and immortality. Obfuscation keeps people guessing. The little feints, the ambiguities, contradictions. For my first 4 years as head of the Nazi Party, I forbade photos to be taken of me. To my surprise, the efforts to keep these things hidden created a cloak of enigma. People want to know. They talk. They were kept on edge. Better delete that last section.
You mean starting with the line obfuscations?
No. There were things about me that I was not comfortable with. They were moved by my words, my fervor. I could speak. I remember one young man in a wheelchair who'd lost his legs. There was an ecstasy on his face. I knew joy. I had the power to heal the sick. As with Wagner's music, people could lose themselves in the totality of my voice.
One must be cautious, Adolf. All people want to be gods. Unfortunately, some do not recognize the impossibility of it.
You're wrong.
Every man has God within him. Fortunately, most people don't recognize this. There is no essence beneath appearance, only a series of appearances, each arising out of the one before and giving birth to the next. I merely fulfill the plans and programs of my original sponsors. Cruelty is impressive. Buildings as the very expression of tyranny. Appearance versus reality is the central issue of all art. Political uses of the occult sciences. Anxiety is institutionalized. To downplay the internal differences, we focused on the external differences. Watch how I use my nervous energy to subdue and control the crowd. Everything I do here is entirely calculated. When you assume absolute rule, a beast climbs onto the throne with you. Every philosopher, politician, poet, composer, general, each will be viewed in the light of my legacy. They are precursors, threads woven into the tapestry of the Hitler era. For generations, all of German history will be viewed through the lens ground by the accomplishments of the era of Adolf Hitler. I forged religion, science, magic, and politics into a single worldview.
Is it possible your enemy lies not without, but within?
You perpetuate a bourgeois existence which offers no salvation.
The aim of my work is to help people escape their inner prison.
My mythology captured people's imagination. According to the universal laws of nature, the soil belongs to those who conquer it. All life is paid for in blood. I crush the skulls of my enemy. I made the death winds blow. Art is a sacred mission which requires the artist to be a fanatic. Stripped of grandeur, exposed, nerve endings, a tender fetus poked unmercifully by a sharp metal rod. Sometimes it feels as if my body has been partially cut out, never grown. On unbearably hot days when I would sweat, the footage not only had to be edited out, but physically eradicated. The original footage, the original reality, the truth, is now lost to them forever. Future Führers must understand, no matter how carefully you plan or execute your production, you can never get it exactly right. But with editing, the black magic, oh, I have edited the imagination of people not yet born. A mere flicker of my imagination could be transformed into a giant deed. One can write new commandments. Thou shalt kill.
Because it doesn't matter if an idea is true or false, as long as it serves my purposes.
But members of your family suffered from mental illness. Didn't you fear insanity?
I dealt with pain by causing pain. My final enigmatic act, my post-war surprise to the world.
What about your fear of being 1/4 Jewish? Where does that fit in?
What drives a leader beyond his destiny? Answer me.
Search for perfection. The untainted.
Most humiliating experience. I was naked before the German people, the world. And then I had to continue with my role, to take the stage again. Only my will allowed me to remain in character. Childhood nightmare returned. Going back to my painting, I longed to paint, to create. I should have been an architect. Has a great ruler ever simply disappeared from the public stage, changed his identity? Let someone else play Hitler, I thought. Give someone else the role! So the stain of defeat would not fade. If my role as great conqueror had ended, a new part began. A great destroyer. I'm being lighted of the greatest catastrophe of all time. That's how I would be remembered. Gain my immortality. I devoured past and future. I devoured. I fuse the symbolic with the real. I exuded spiritual terror.
Tainted.
We were stuck in a mutually reciprocal dream play. Figures twirling with no ground, images with no object. A mass hallucination. turn their lives and wills over to a single man? It's insane. My youth was an emptiness, a black mirror laced with panic. As Führer, my mirror filled with my image, but the glow was brief. And when the brightness fades at twilight, the brutality has begun. Finally, when the beast is spent, the black night returns. The only remedy is to lash out. Ever so slightly, the fog lifts. It doesn't go away, but it is tolerable. No one questioned me. Further and further down the fog. No one said stop. The whole apparatus said yes. Go on. Repeating cycles of affirmation. All this madness, the distraction, the human suffering. I too was trapped in the whirlwind we created. An empty mirror filled with hate. I expected God to reach down and stop me. But he never did. Please. Please say something.